Hey everybody, it's Doug Schauf with the Make Man Your Home team over at RE/MAX Oceanside. In this week's episode, we're going to talk about pros and cons about selling your house if you're unfortunately going through a divorce. So let's do this. All right, everybody, like I said, we are going to talk today about some pros and cons when you're selling your house, unfortunately, if you're going through a divorce. And if you are watching this video and you're going through a divorce, I'm very sorry to hear that. I know it's a very stressful time, and I'm sorry to hear that you're going through that type of thing. But what I'm going to try to do here is shine some light on some pros and cons on selling your house. There is also the option of one of you keeping the house before we talk about the pros and cons. And if that is the case, if you have any specific questions about it, certainly feel free to reach out to us and we can help you out. Usually what you need to do is if you have a mortgage on the property, you're going to have to talk to a mortgage lender and get approved to refinance the house and buy the other person out. And if you have the means to do that and you want to stay in the house, that is an option to go. And again, really, it's as easy as just starting the conversation with your mortgage company and a lender just to talk more about, refinancing and things like that. So now we'll kind of jump into some pros and cons here. Some pros that we wrote down here is if neither of you want to stay in the house, eventually get a new property, like a new place. It's kind of like, turning the page, a new chapter in your life. And sometimes putting yourself in a new environment helps you get through this process much quicker and easier, as easy as it can be. But just going to a new environment can be a very positive thing in this time. Depending on how much equity you have in your house, and in these days, depending on when you're watching it, you probably do have a lot of equity. And that just means that, you could end up with a lot of cash in your pocket to have the new start. So that could be a great positive thing to just end up with a big bunch of money. Okay. And then also get to downsize. Sometimes, we live in these big houses or whatever. And if you're downsizing into a more manageable property, that could be a very, very positive thing as well. And it's something that's not as overwhelming and things like that could make your life much better. So those are some pros when you're selling your house. And some cons is, you're going to want to talk to your accountant just to see how that gets affected. You might be up against some capital gains or some other kinds of taxes that you might want to, try to avoid as much as you can. And then also, because if you are going through a divorce, the proceeds from the sale is going to have to be divided. So of course, that big pile of cash that I was talking about a minute ago might be cut in half. Hopefully the wad of cash is big enough that it's, great for both of you, but it is going to be split. And of course, you're going to have to pay off any mortgages. You're going to have to pay off any equity lines, things like that. Depending on how long you've owned the house, you might not make as much money in the house as you were hoping to, like if you were, going to hold on to the property for 20 years and unfortunately that got cut short, you might not make as much money. So there's some cons there to be mindful of through this process. Something that we can do as brokers, real estate brokers, to help out. When you get into this process, it's always worth it. If you have a mortgage there, again, contact your mortgage company, maybe contact a local lender just to talk about options for yourself, and then reach out to a real estate broker. We can help out quite a bit. We can maybe recommend lawyers to work with. We do a great job of keeping everything separate and fair and all that stuff. And we can also make the process of moving out much easier and helping getting the house ready for sale, things like that. While you're focused on other things, we can kind of take over and do a lot of that stuff. We can work with the title companies to make sure that everything goes smoothly, make sure the money goes in the right way. We can help recommend accountants if you need that. We know so many people in the community that we can really try to help make this as smooth as possible for you. So again, just reach out to your professionals, use them as much as you can. It'll make the whole process easier. So anyway, hopefully this was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, comment below. And remember, if you make Maine your home, you don't have to do it alone.